The Wilfred Owen poetry bewails the fact that youth is being massacred. One forgets that at the end of World War I, they were inducting into the Army 16 years old and thinking of taking 14-year-olds into the service, into the armed services. It was a terrible, terrible war.
It's his. Yeah.
Move it along in here. Can you move it along in here? Come out when you're taking your coat off. Bring your music with you. Music and a reading book.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, we were reading.
The constant running theme throughout all Britain's life is of innocence outraged. This thing, guys, is like trumpets with real calling to attention. I mean, please God, somebody listen to me. The whole thing is an argument against war. The whole piece is, and this urgently calling to God for help, and this is where we need it over here now. Poor us. Here we go again.
And he feels the same pervasive innocence, even down to the age of little children, outraged against, because they're the next in line. They're the next inductees.
Bravo, Jim. That's so vastly superior, guys. Wonderful. It's just handsome as can be. We're going to get along nice. Going to be very, very good indeed. Now we'll rehearse the rest of them to get up to your level of performance. There you go. Come on, put it together. Attaboy. Attaboy. Attaboy.
I don't have to sell any of you on who Robert Shaw is when it comes to preparing and presenting choral music. There simply isn't anyone else who can do it quite like he can, and we're really thrilled that he comes back to Carnegie Hall year after year to do this, and as long as he's willing to come and do this kind of project, we're willing to find a way to make it happen. We're very much committed to this kind of work. We really consider it to be the most important work we're doing at Carnegie Hall today. So welcome to all of you, but most of all, thank you, Robert, for doing this for us, and welcome.
This is a unique piece in that it has 2 orchestras and 2 choruses and 2 sets of soloists. Right, now begin. Requiem. And 1 and 2. Requiem. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and... Once again, same thing. And 1. And
the first day is unsettling. It's unsettled before it begins because you don't know exactly what the group is going to be like.
No cigar. 1, 2, 3.
The rehearsal should be so calculated that sort of nobody's allowed to learn anything wrong. That is to say, you shouldn't go so fast that you have to go back and pick up. It should always be accumulating.
4, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Text. End. Now, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1. S, E, re, D, S, E, la. Don't rush. Sacrum in fa, vi, la, de, ste, da, vid, cum, si, vi, la, de, ste, da, vid, cum, si. Is there any chance that you're rushing that on the way down? Begin with a mezzo forte whisper. G, S, E, re, ti, S, E, la. And then when you get to the crescendo, brighten the tone, leave the breathiness behind, and get real raunchy at the top, except absolute, a real brilliant sound, except absolute intonation. And then get back. He said, get back to the whispered at the end. Here we go. And a 1, 2, a 1, 2, go. T, S, oh, come on. T, S. Let me talk to me on that D. Just sing D. 1, 2, 3. T. No. T. 1, 2, 3. T. Whisper. T. T. D. 90% whisper, 10% pitch. But every bit of pitch, but 100% D natural when on the pitch. Ready? So 90% stage whisper. 1, 2, 3. T. Closer, but you're still not actors yet. 2, go. T, S, E, re, T, S, E, la, sol, re, se, cum, in, fa, vi, la, te. Brighter. Fa, vi, cum, si, vi, la, te, se, la, cum, si. You almost must make a crescendo coming down as you change color and go into the spoken part. Begin, teste David, cum, si, bi, la. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, sing. Teste David, cum, si, bi, la. Let me have bi, la. 1, 2, 3. Bi, la. All right, next to the next. The chorus is used to singing through until, from the beginning of the piece to the end. And in a certain sense, Benjamin Britten, with this piece at least, brings the chorus here because he wants some text emphasis at this point. And he may leave the women out of it, or he may leave the men out of it, or he may leave 3/4 of the chorus out of it and have only the alto section sing for 2 measures. And the rest of the choir then is counting silences. And so in that sense, it's a good deal harder on the choral animal. 2 soprano parts for a moment. 1, 2, ready, begin. Quan, est, second soprano is flat, and ladies, you sound like you've been strained through a keyhole when you get up there. Don't make as elegant and wonderful sound as you can. It's possible for the music itself to be frightening. You don't. Sing numbers. Ready? Now begin. Sing. 1, T, T. Say T, folks. Don't say 3 because it takes too long, and we lose that fraction of a second. 1, T, T. 5, 6. Main goal, obviously, was to acquaint the group with the whole piece, so that we didn't stop to polish anything, and we read mostly with the numbered singing, so that we get the rhythmic thing rather than trying to handle text and dynamics and emotional qualities. Britten set scores upon scores of religious texts, and he was motivated also by religious stories. The Good Samaritan story forms another one of his operatic things, and many of his choral texts are very, very sensitive and sacred in their nature, and even many of them are liturgical. That is part of the service. This thing is extraordinarily seriously taken. 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Out there we've walked quite friendly up to death, and Ethan wears him cool, and Pardon his spilling messings in our hands. He sniffed the green thick odor of his breath. Our eyes were but a courage did, he spat at us with bullets.
It's a major leap of immodesty to insert into the Catholic Mass that's been around for these centuries anything at all
and then to confront its philosophical positions of Christianity, particularly about heaven and about hell. And substantially, the poetry of Wilfred Oren says, hell's on earth and it's in my dugout. And not only that, he says, there is no heaven. There is no assurance. The boys are dead.
Interesting, because until that time, hardly anyone, only a few people knew about Wilfred Owen, and the sheer genius of the sheer originality of the idea of selecting those texts to weave in and out of the Requiem Mass was so bold in a way that it totally took people back, and they were all stunned and extremely moved by it. In fact, all those early performances of the War Requiem, I mean, it caused, I think it was the one piece which finally totally consolidated Britten's reputation as being one of the very great composers of this century.
Sing new. Begin quietly as possible and slowly crescendo. We assume that you do some vocalization before you come because you obviously care about the sound. Crescendo, go to O. Take a breath anytime you want to. We'll hold it for 30 to 60 seconds. Go to O. Now turn slowly around to your right. Slowly. So you're facing a different acoustical environment and a different voice. Face the circle, face inside. Good. Let me say a word about blend. Everybody understands that voices that sing in concert, that is, in concerted voices, have to blend, you know. But I think it's always a mistake to talk about blend. We didn't, in 50, 60, 70 years ago, we didn't talk about anything else. But blend is obviously a product of singing the right pitch at the right time, on the right vowel, with the right dynamic level, with the right vocal color, you know? And it's just folly to say to a choir to blend, but it's just equally folly not to say, to call attention to a fact of a blend when it isn't there. But our ears have to tell us whether it's a matter of intonation, whether it's a matter of vocal color, whether he arrived at the wrong time, whether she did the wrong vowel or whatever. So we blend, and one of the things we turning around is seeing if we're really matching pitch or if we're really matching vowels. Also, it's the fastest way I know to discover what the acoustic of a new auditorium is if you're on tour. Within 3 to 4 minutes, if you have your choir on stage and it's concert set up and they do a few unison exercises, even on a monotone, and turn around a little bit, and so they're facing the walls or the curtains or whatever the problems you have, you can get a sense of the hall faster this way than any way I know. New. That's it. Now, not buzzy, guys. O, crescendo, O. Now turn around slowly and crescendo for the next 30 seconds. Crescendo. What happens on a crescendo, even in unison, when one hears it very simply, is that certain voices are bigger than other voices, and it happens even when you have 160 voices. And what happens is when we get up to a certain point is that we begin to lose the ensemble of the crescendo, and voices begin to emerge simply because they're larger, or because they change quality as they're crescendoing. I think in this instance, it was more a change of quality. They began, when I asked crescendo, 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 they began to be buzzy, and begin to force their tone. Keep it under control and stay within the sleeve of the sound. Stay within the sleeve of the general sound. Nu again. We begin again with a sort of a Gregorian, non-vibrato, sweet, sweet vowel. Nu. O. And then aw together. Now crescendo that and turn slowly around. Crescendo again. Keep the same tone. Elegant sound, elegant. Good, good. Let's go. And now, and 1 and 2. You didn't make a diminuendo, and you began too late. I didn't get any until almost the second 16th of the first beat. It must be Requiem. That's your responsibility. And 2 and 3 and 4. Requiem. Now a little bit more, just so that there's a little bit of anguish and a little bit of heartbreak in the sound. And 1 and 2. Be personally touched. And 4. And 4 and too late, too late. It's as difficult to sing in tempo as it is to sing in tune, and nobody ever teaches that, As a matter of fact, voice studios, most solo voice studios don't teach any people how to sing in tune. You're going to place the voice. Well, put it someplace where I don't have to listen to it, Probably at Carnegie Hall, and you're thinking to the back of the hall, which is up there almost. It's almost at that angle on stage. Your last 3 syllables would be lost, and we're obliged to deliver the last 3 syllables, to the last chair in the balcony. So the danger, obviously, is that we lose our community of sound. But we're not in danger of that now, because you can sing a little bit more, because you begin to by just a little bit of singing with numbers, you begin to identify pitches better together. Let's go again. Requiem. I think even sopranos can feel a darkness better than that. That sounds thin and childish, and as though nobody really had a brother buried in a cemetery in San Francisco. And 2. Get a little bit. Get the F. The F is distinguished as from the E and but it isn't. It isn't. It's sort of requiem. Requiem. We're not using the choir as a great solo recitalist does, which changes the tone back and forth, and all you're doing is just sort of singing your usual tinny little sounds. And this has to be full of some sort of dramatic insight. We go again, and now that is to say, we don't want the sound of a folk song that's a happy-go-lucky skipping sound. We want a dark, bruised sound. Go, and 3 and do, e, sto. You slow down on Domine. Tum, team, 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 team. People, tempo, urgency goes on. Life goes on through your nose while you sleep at night. You know? Life goes on. And every time you come to a diminuendo, you also get slower and slower and slower. But team, 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 team is different from team, 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 team. The piece is still accumulating, you see. It doesn't stop for the next 85 minutes. Now intense, dark. Tell a ghost story to a 4-year-old kid. 6-year-old kid, a Cub Scout. Requiem. Dramatize it. 1 and 2. Yeah, it's the point is that we are responsible to expressiveness, and we simply have not become expressive enough. How bloody does it have to be before Benjamin can write this thing? How bloody does war have to get? And we have to share in that color. Begin on this Requiem aeternam. And make it sound like it's coming out through about 6 feet of grave mold. You know, these voices, these lonesome voices that begin the thing are just bubbling out of grave mold or out of the slough of despond. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Now do it again. Dona eis. And 1 and 2. Close your eyes. 1 and 2. Yeah, with the listening and still a little more breathy. Dona, dona. So, and you may have to breathe in the middle of it. Just don't be late, that's all. And 1 and 2. Probably too quiet. But the first sound that we've had that sounded like it was made out of human, you know, out of people who cared. Let's go to the next. And 1 and every ladies begin. Bravo, bravo. I find that so touching, it makes me cry. To get that right. Damn, that's great. You'd have to have lived, I think, a few years before World War I to realize that was the great dividing line. Up to that time, science was going to save the world. You know, just everything was going to be perfect. And then from then on, it's been a century of war. So anyway, I registered CO when the war came along. My brother went in as a chaplain, and he was killed in the South Pacific as an Air Force chaplain. Bomb landed on his service one day, come down on the pulpit. Anyway, so I do have a conviction that war is simply awful. I mean, it's just hellish, and I don't think anybody feels any different. You know, I think everybody feels about the same. This confrontation of Owen's poetry means a lot to me. I just love to see man stand up against that. Don't let the bastards get you down.
What passing bells for these who die as cattle. Only the monstrous anger of the guns, only the stuttering rifles' rapid rattle can putter out hasty on his hands. No mockeries for them from brass or bells, nor any voice of mourning save the choirs, the shrill lamented choirs of wailing shells.
No mockeries for them of bells and such. Don't think that by just simple religious observance
you're going to be able to wash away the tragedy. It's hard to think of another intellectual or emotional position like pacifism that might be big enough and strong enough to challenge conventional Christianity as nobly as he did it. He could have set those poems as he must have, since he's set so many cycles of words and text for both chorus and solo voices. He could have set them, loving them as he did, for a solo voice. He had his friend Peter Pears, who always premiered his works and would have made a very beautiful song cycle out of them. But to have the imagination and to place them so strategically in the text is just fantastic. That may be the great accomplishment of the piece. Numbers 1 2 T 1 2 T. Ready, begin. 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T 1 2 T
Okay, now, the point is to make the text serve the music. The music is written to serve the text, obviously. Now make the text serve the music, so it becomes absolutely precise. Even numbers sing text. Even numbers sing text. Ready? Now, ready, begin. Oh, 1, 2, 1. Everybody sing text. Now, there's no doubt, is there, in anybody's mind that we could make up a bunch of syllables, but abba do ba da do bat di ba, or something like that would make it a cinch. But these are the only syllables we have, and so you got to make it sound like abba da baba da boop be da, rabba da baba da boop di ba. Ready? Here we go. Text. Forte. A 1 and a 2. Now, talk it to me. Don't sing any pitch. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, begin. All right, now, only the front row sing the pitches. Everybody else just talk it. The expressivity of choral music is linked in a large measure to its text. And I think, therefore, the text introduces elements of dramatic coloration of the voice, which we should be able to strive for. Everybody sing as though you're trying to do both. You may have to sing some notes on an intake of breath rather than an outtake of breath, but you'll learn how quickly. Ready? We're trying to express dramatic extremes by vocal coloration, by getting bright and by getting dark and by getting whispered or by getting shouty. It's emotional, but it's linked to textual ideas as well.
This piece demands of the chorus that it be more a collective actor than the other pieces that we have done. Because as an actor, you have to communicate all of the elements of the drama without losing yourself in the doing of it. And in this piece, I mean, it could drive you to silence. I mean, I found even yesterday in the rehearsal, just if I had not been very careful, just being driven to silence. I couldn't go on. I couldn't do this anymore. I couldn't say this. I couldn't sing.
And when you leave the rehearsals, you don't leave walking out skipping.
Of the pieces we've done here, the Brahms and the Beethoven, both the drama really grows out of the notes. I mean, obviously terribly dramatic pieces, but all of the drama comes right out of the notes. And here, that's not quite true. You know, there are these broad dramatic strokes, The juxtaposition is a dramatic stroke. The use of the children is a dramatic stroke. I mean, almost everything that he uses in terms of forces becomes one of these big dramatic brush strokes.
Clap your parts, please, beginning at the 2-2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, what happens is that the parts that are coming in are just ever so slightly late. Again, a 1, 2, 3, 4. And a stop. Good. Once more. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Now sing that on da 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 da. Da 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, ladies, don't go on. What we're trying to rehearse is the place where the errors are. You're just adding to our confusion. Ready? Quietly, basses. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, what happens is we don't get da. We don't get those together. On the see? Ready? Sing do 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4. No. All right, sing staccato. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. No good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, sing 1 and 2 and T and 4 it. Ready? 1, 2, T, 4. Right, you can do that. What you can't do is tie and then come in at the right time. Ready? Sing ta ta ta. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sing your proper vowels. Valde, ba da ba da. But sing staccato. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once again, and sing the whole text. 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost, instrumentalists get this sort of a thing from the minute they pick up their instrument, when they're 3 years old, and singers never get this. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. And some instrumentalists continue this all their lives, and that's all they get. Ready? 1 and a 2 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 and 1 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 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 Continue. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Bravo. Now, it also is, of course, extraordinarily easier when you're singing piano than when you're pushing all that weight around, vocal weight. You can't move it that fast. It's a little bit like, like asking you to high jump 7 feet and chew gum at the same time. Think how many voices we could kill if we didn't do this. I mean, we could kill everybody's voice.
The count singing really locks things in, and it's repetition. But if you listen, it's lots of different ways of coming at the same thing. He always comes back and half use numbers and half use text, and we did speaking kinds of things and clapping kinds of things. So it's the most interesting way to rehearse and to save everybody's voice and to take advantage of both our intelligence and the voice. It's a wonderful way to rehearse. Nobody is tired at the end of these days. We have 6 hours of rehearsal, and nobody's tired. You're not vocally tired because he saves that. And then you've got these, some honcho voices here that can really haul off and do it. Some of us have not as big voices, so we have to sing smarter. Intervallically and rhythmically, and with all these people here, it's the it's the Carson joke. You don't want to be the only one in brown shoes. You know, I mean, this is a top crew, and so you're really on your mettle all the time.
You begin pa instead of 3 and 4. Now, can't you hear that difference? You really can't. Sure, you can hear it. And all it takes is for you to hear it another second sooner before you do it. And 3 and 4. Beware of what has happened almost all the times. If the soprano's been edgy, it's been on one because they go lead on, then they boom on the thing instead of lead on and then also lead the downbeat too. There's also pull in the downbeat. There just isn't pull away from. There's pull into. Ready? You 3 and 4. Now, there's just almost no end to the communicative qualities, possibilities of choral performance. There's somehow an end to what an orchestra can achieve. But there's nothing that can stand between the communication if everybody is as sensitive as one ought to be. And tone can communicate, and rhythm can communicate, and pitch can communicate, and color of voice can communicate, and dynamics can communicate. And then since you got the only voice that really comes out of this is what happens, and there's just a change of color, a change of harmony should really bring tears. I mean, that's what the piece is about. Here we go next, Judicandi. Now make more crescendo. And when you cut off that oos, let it hit the floor so it breaks somebody's heart. You 3, 4. More. All right, and then we finish in Pie Jesu. And this is a completely different tone. 3. Right, move as the beat starts back all the time. So you just touch that moment. That was wonderful, glorious tone, sopranos. 3, 4. Same tone. And make as much as you can and keep that tone, which won't be a lot. It's not only that nobody can conduct that, it's also that nobody's worthy of conducting that, you see. If you do it yourselves, and it's right, nobody should lead. Take a little more delight in the syncopation of your last syllable. You're going to share that with a woodwind each time, a different woodwind, and he's going to be ahead of you. So it sounds almost like you're coming into your seventh beat, a little bit late, early, rather than T 1 2 ta.
Okay.
See, just a little bit. It's hard to do that within the diminuendo, but if it's a little bit late, it won't coincide with the woodwind because he'll come right down. See,
okay.
Unless I coach him differently, and I think it has a little urgency to it that way. Okay, 54, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1.
The tenor and baritone are singing in English, but this is in Latin for the rest of us, and you need to know what you're saying. When you know what you're saying, it is remarkable. When I first went through, I have a basic idea of what the Requiem text means, but before I went through and translated, I learned the notes. I always learn notes before I look at anything else. And when you go through and translate it, you can see, in the Lacrimosa section, it's all this da-da-dee-dee-dum, and it goes all of this up and down, and it's really like crying. It really is. It's almost like, and that's what the whole thing is about. It's about tears and weeping, and it's almost like sobbing through the whole thing. The chorus has all this da, da, and it's all, it's like when you're crying, you kind of have to catch breath so you can't do anything. And that's how it's set. And you can look at it first time through and say, okay, 1 beat, rest, 1 beat, rest, 1 beat, rest. My problem is I get so involved emotionally that takes energy away from my singing. And it's such a danger to do that. But if you do, you can't make it through. You just can't.
Britten is interested in communicating the text with colors and with the full range of the voice. If you make a dark sound or a really light sound, to do whatever you can do to bring off the text. And the singing of it's not so important. But he wasn't so much interested in making such a beautiful sound all the time as you make a really ugly sound if you have an ugly thing to sing. If Ben has to sing the green thick odor of death's breath and he can't sing the green thick, he has to really get nasty. And that's maybe the Britten style, is to couple the singing with the communicating in the best way possible.
There was a kind of a tension, and sometimes almost a neurosis, a kind of tension which went through the music. And it never, sometimes it was very, almost, as I say, almost a neurosis, but other times he was a wonderful Mozart conductor. And if you watched him conducting Mozart, it was just, everything was moving. He never pushed, he was never overdone, but it was always just bringing things up. But he was working all the time. It never stopped. And in the War Requiem, too, with a lot of the choruses, it needs that kind of, almost like a frenetic tension in a lot. And I think a lot of conductors don't actually sense that in the music. But there's this incredible, like a sizzle that runs through a lot of it. And he always had that feeling of direction. Also, it was the same with his piano playing as well. Incredible feeling of direction. The music never hangs around. It's always going somewhere.
We lose a little tempo quality. Let it rock a little bit. Constantly, constantly. And dictate to the orchestra where the tempo is. They're playing chica, 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 chica. You're playing your same notes on the bridge. Someone says, but now if they play two, you're going to be, which they are, they're playing 2/16, so every one of your late eighths. They aren't going to coincide. 1, 2, 3. And tempo, chicka, 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 chicka. Everybody who's not singing, sing chicka, 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 chicka. 4 beats, 2 beats, and. No, don't want to hear the beginning. Now the C. Don't drop tempo. You're slowing down, guys. You slow down. No, 32. It's not, it's not major. It's so slight. But to anybody who's alive to tempo qualities, it's just too much. And basses, you could keep the tenors honest in measures 3 and 4 by giving them a little chicky now and then, Here we go, 32. And 3 and 4, and chicka, 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 salva. Tempo is very important to me because heartbeat is important. Tempo is the heart pulse of the music. Hear that? Your va simply didn't come with chicka, chicka. You go salva, and whether you know it or not, your a vowel on the second eighth note that you sing is not in tempo. The V is not, the V must be ahead of the beat. Sing only the Music rests upon the assumption that time is divisible. That is divisible in equal blocks. Okay, let's have those 2 measures. And sing them on ta, ta. Sing staccato, ta, ta. One should be able to subtly, by changing tempo, to speed that heart or to slow it down. Sing text. Ready? 1 and 2, 3 and 4. When one speeds tempo, it should have a gripping quality on the emotion. So one keeps tempo constant, except to change it for expressivity.
While Mr. Shaw has such a tangible nuts and bolts approach to what we do, and in the hands of many other people, it is just that. It's just mechanics. But ultimately, what turns us on is that every moment of it seems to be a key that unlocks a mystical connection, a mystical experience.
Yeah.
And that's the intangible, and that's the greatness that we all find here, that somehow we're trying to find out what that is, what the link is between the nuts and bolts of the mechanics of the music and that mystical experience of the music coming alive and breathing breath into it.
How much crescendo do you have to make a half note alive after you've had 2 eighth notes that each had an independent syllable? You have to make quite a bit of crescendo. Where do you make it? Not right at the first instant, but you make it along about the second eighth note of the 4 eighth notes that you have. And you rush it, you begin to crescendo more through the third and the fourth eighth notes. The first one you hit's rather solid and steady, not solid, but absolutely steady without vibrato, and then begin to add vibrato enough to color it if you need it, but also, but mostly a little bit of crescendo. Once again. Go quickly. Espressivo crescendo. Up to now, we've used crescendo only to keep notes alive. That is to say, long notes need to have a little bit of blooming. Now you make an expressive crescendo and add on top of the blooming now you begin to add really expression. Record, begin, ne me paradox. 3 and 4. I gain security through rehearsal, and I feel a lot more secure at the end of the week than I did at the beginning of the week. I learn a lot in rehearsal, particularly with the choral rehearsal, because you, in a sense, you sort of form the group. The group doesn't exist. This group didn't exist until our first rehearsal. Now come on again. What I hope is happening is that each person is educated within the rehearsal process to the point where substantially he's participating without being directed. That is to say, I say to the chorus and I say to them, look, I don't bring you in, the music brings you in. When we get to the spot that you're supposed to sing, this is your responsibility. The cueing doesn't make any difference. It's the educative process, the acquaintance with the structural qualities of the music and also its sonic properties, the way it sounds. You can kill a choir faster than anything else by having them sing forte at the first orchestral rehearsal to try to balance the orchestra. So we won't try to balance. You'll listen and you'll sort of mark. Let's get him down. The most important things we can accomplish in this afternoon's rehearsal are to be sure that we interlock our joints between the large forces and the smaller forces, and so we'll pay attention to that.
got time to stuff up there. Jim, you gotta watch me and beat right with me on that. Just turn to me, and as I go down, you may beat any way you want to, but be, that is to say, you can do all downs or all ups or anything, but they must be together with mine. Okay. Once you came in absolutely right the first time, but then you had a tempo that was slightly slower than the one which was on stage, and it'll be disaster. Oh, it'll be disaster, but it'll be better if we stay together.
Well, I'll be able to see you.
Sir?
Well, where I am in Carnegie,
yes, you will be able to see me. I've been up there and I've looked at it. So you just look around and the kids will follow you, but you stay with me. This is a unique piece in that it has two orchestras and two choruses and two sets of soloists, really. The men sing with the chamber orchestra and the woman soprano sings with the large orchestra. And so you go along for a minute and a half to 2 minutes with one group, and then you immediately are in the next measure are with the other group. And so there are a lot of slippages which can occur.
To a very young conductor in the cab on the way here today, and he says, well, gosh, now what are we going to do? He's one of the auditors, and he says, what are we going to do now? Everything's fixed, everything's ready. Okay, well, we'll just take breaks from now until Sunday. We'll sit out on the corner. Well, clearly, we have established a level, but, and that's the thing about getting to Britten is that a lot of getting to Britten via Shaw won't happen until that moment. But the secret about this kind of rehearsal is that we rehearse what it is we're going to do in performance. We come as close to that ephemeral musical experience, and that's what we're all hungry for. That's why we all come here to New York, is to get as many doses of it as we can.
Talking, your name will go down in my little book, and you will not be one of the people who goes to FAO Schwartz later. So can everybody understand that? Can everybody hear me? Because this is for real, okay?
look at the
Excuse me?
Take a quick look. Oh.
It's a comfortable place to sing, isn't it?
It's very good. The organ also, it's nice to be able to hear it. It works all right then. Good.
Jim, one little suggestion. It's perfect. It sounds wonderful. I don't think it's up to the tempo which he indicated.
Right.
I think we've gotten a little slower and slower through the days.
Right.
If 1, 2, 6, 1, 2. It's about 144 instead of 162.
Right.
I think it's supposed to have a little enthusiasm and a little relaxation from the sort of tragedy of the other chorus.
Right, exactly.
And so it might sound a little more buoyant if it's a little faster.
We'll take it a bit faster. Don't let the feeling of the beginning of the work slow you down. That's part of what's happening. Here we go. Anytime.
You ready?
Ready.
Wonderful.
Good.
Yeah, that's great.
Right.
Don't wear them out. But it's wonderful, guys. That's great. Okay. That's all we need, James. Pull that chair. That one goes, that's fine. That one goes out, whoop, back, put it back an inch. And the next one, till it almost touches. There you go. That one, that's another inch there, and that one, okay. And go, keep going in with that one. Keep going, keep going, keep going. All right, next one.
He didn't yell at you at all.
He didn't yell at all. I know, it's
No.
frightening. Can you imagine what might happen today? Keep waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Today, this is kind of, the performance is kind of like anticlimactical. The fun, the real learning, the interesting, the in-depth are the rehearsals and learning it. And so, of course, the audience has paid their money, you have to do it. Oh, good grief. Now let's see. Got it? Yeah. Good.
You're singing, and you're singing into a Stradivarius now of halls. So listen for it and use it. sure it's steady basses. No, you jump at the note and you sing it as though you're not really interested in its intonation. You know, it must sound like it's cared for. Once again, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nowhere. This is tough. Nowhere. Again, you jump like this instead of culturing the tone. You know, instead of caring for it, patting it on the head and stuff. You just sort of you flop into it. The last sort of 5% of togetherness is will. of that is wanting to so much. The last 5% of intonation is just so intense the desire that it just happens. Knee off. Knee. Britten. Aw. Of the Lacrimosa. La. I don't want us to. I've decided sort of this morning and last night, thinking about it a lot. We need your presence. We don't need your vocal presence. This is a stronger choir. I don't know, by some freak of something. It's more compact. It's more knit. It's more beautiful, but it's incredibly strong. It makes the whole sound different. And when Christine sings the Lacrimosa and such, I want your presence too. I want you standing. You know, I want everybody to feel your belonging rather than. But to do that, you've got to be half as loud and twice as intense. La. Quiet it a little bit. Don't let it get too breathy, but let it get a little hooty. And now. Now be seated. Let's make way for her. Now, everybody up and see if we obscure her. You just all laughed the holiness out of your voice. It'd take us 15 minutes to get the holiness in, and now you've just laughed it out.
Gorgeous.
Go get your rest. I tell you, if I were singing a solo, I'd be happy to have you back me up too. Let's go to number 1, first movement. Don't hook it too much. Don't fake it too much. It's getting a little over colored. Ready? And 1 and ta 3 and 4. That's it. Now that we have the idea of how colorful we can get, it's just wonderful to have that feel like these are great human beings saying this, not people with masks. Recordare. There's absolutely nothing between the composer and the audience. It's the statement of it's what he wrote. Let's go to the next entrance. Nobody in the world gets a chance to hear unison like that, anymore. It's just for caring for vowels and caring for enunciation and caring for the dynamic. And also it's out of sort of the rehearsal methods that build this sort of sense of unison. That's just glorious. I can't tell, it's the whole meaning of choral singing is unification, and it's a communion with with one another and with the project, with the creator. There's just nothing to mar that, you see. There's nothing to split that sort of human core of togetherness. That's such a dirty word in Hallmark terms, and such a noble word when you can get away from it, like this. 2 measures. And the last one, he'll give you the 3/4 measure. Don't you sing it. You come in the next measure. 1, 2, and 3. I don't think Hindemith could have written that. That is to say, I don't think he could take it in dictation. That's just such a mess of sound. That's extraordinary. So there you are. We'll have a lovely afternoon. No, don't. One small clap from everybody. See, good. See you.
Okay, again over the top. Finally, on the first side, remember the new speed. Fast, loud. Mr. Shaw wants it to be joyous, he said, very joyous. Don't forget that tempo.
Miss with a march of this retreating world. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Into veins citadels are not wall.
It's time to go yet?
It's pretty soon.
Chorus, please make your way to the stage.
Make your way to the stage. By way of 43rd Street.
Britten, I think, would be classed as a non-believer, at least in the customary sense. But this thing is extraordinarily, seriously taken. In a certain sense, traditionally taken. It's a traditional musical Christian line. It's in the line of Berlioz and Verdi. It's a liturgy addressed to divinity in behalf of the people who can no longer address divinity. you're left with the question. And left, I think, for me, that if the human animal is also capable of killing, he appears to at least given us a few that give us some sort of hope that it might not taint necessarily so. I think that's all one's entitled to.